Today, we are going to learn how to get free leads. Has anybody ever come on board with a company like this and you're already broke? You're already 3 months behind on bills, and you're like, they showed me how I could make so much money in this industry, and then you're like, oh, I'm struggling. I don't have money for leads. I got to have leads to make money, and I got to have money to get leads, right? So it's kind of like a catch-22. So I know everybody's been through that at some point. So when I bring a new person on, one of my first questions is, do you have more time or do you have more money? Like when I came on board, I was an executive at my last company. I made pretty good money. I had money in the bank. So for me, I'd say I have more money than I do time. So, okay, I don't mind spending money on some good quality, leads. I was spending $50 to $100 on higher intent leads, exclusive leads. But when you're newer, we tell people buy like the little 50-cent leads, just practice, because you're gonna mess up. Justin's just got his license. Congrats, brother. And so imagine, like we had a guy actually do this brand new. I'm going to say it's Justin. It wasn't Justin, but just for fun, it's Justin's first day. And we're sitting here in the Zoom room watching each other. And he calls his very first lead. Now, you know how leads are. You call 100 of them, right? 90 of them, wrong number. I didn't fill that out. Piss off, whatever, right? You hear all kinds of, these are people that fill out a form for 17 minutes on a website asking you for help. And then they cuss you out when you call them. I've never been cussed out, but I've heard some good stories. I keep waiting for my chance. But I would just have to laugh at them. I'm like, let me get this straight. You filled out this form, spend all this time on the internet asking me for help. I'm calling you for help, and you're cussing me out. I just found that funny. But anyway, Justin's first day, he sits down, he calls his very first lead, and they answer the phone. The lady, true story, the lady goes, hello, and Justin hung up. I looked at him, I said, how'd you hang up on her? He goes, I forgot my name. That's a true story. He forgot his name. He wasn't expecting her to pick up. So, maybe that's why scripts are important, I guess. So, you have something to read from. For me, I'm more of I'm a conversationalist. I just like to talk to people. To me, it's like they filled out a form. They're asking you for help. I'm just calling them saying, how can I help you? All right. Like if they came into Best Buy, they said, I'm looking for a big screen TV. All right. What kind are you looking for? How far away are you sitting? Do you even have high def eyes? I noticed you got a lazy eye and glasses. Like, you're asking questions to facilitate the sell. So what I'm going to show you today is more about how to actually get off your butt, go out of the house, and actually find people to talk to. And it's pretty cool. I've lived in this town where I'm at right now for about 12 years. Not picking on her if my wife watches this, sorry. But she's lived here her whole life. I know 10 times more people than she does. Now, one, you know me. Two, she's the exact opposite. She's more of the kind of shy, quieter type, right? Doesn't speak a whole lot. When she does, it's important you listen, but it's always soft-spoken, and right. And then there's me. So yeah, I guess Paula Abdul got that right. All right, so this is very old. You can see that I actually started this kind of about a year after I started with Family First Life. So this is very, very old. I've tried to find the original so that I don't have to redo the whole thing, but I can tell that this one is pretty ancient, but it'll still work. You'll still get the idea, although we may change some things. So if you didn't know, I started with Aflac years and years ago, 20 years ago. Like at Aflac, they basically said, here's a bunch of brochures. Here's a little crash course on what we sell. Get out there and have fun. Like there was not really much training on what to do or say. It was more just you walk in. I would park on this side of the street. I would hit every single business and really just introduce myself. Then I'd find some place to eat around lunchtime. Then I'd cross the street and I'd hit every business on the way back. And my sales pitch was so bad. I would walk in and I would go, hi, I'm Shannon with Aflac, and I would love 5 minutes of your time. Here's my card. And I would run away because I was terrified they were going to tell me no or go away or be mean to me. So, I had an aha moment. Like I said, I was so bad at dropping off my car and just saying, I work for Aflac. If I could have 5 minutes of your time, I sure appreciate it. Love you, bye. And I ran away. Then this lady I'll never forget, I think my first account, it was a gym, like a gymnasium. And I walked in, hey, I'm Shannon with Aflac. If I could have 5 minutes of your time, just to, appreciate it. Love, bye. This lady goes, well, yeah, I've got time right now. I was like, you do? You want to talk to me? And that's where I closed my very first deal. So anyway, I got better, obviously, as time went on. And then I wrote a little book about it. So the book needs to be changed a lot. But first thing is I created something that we call a hit list. And the hit list is just more of a memory jogger. Who do you know? Like, who's your doctor, nurse, who sold you your car? Who's your kid's teacher, your pharmacist, dentist, who checks your eyes, your plumber, realtor, just different things. Go through this list, write down names of people that do these things, because it's kind of like referrals. If somebody, if Leanne just absolutely loves me and everything I've done for her, and at the end of the whole, business dealings, I go, now, Leanne, who else do you know that could benefit from services that I've offered, you? Well, even if she loves me, she goes blank. She can't think of any names. You ever had that happen? They're like, So I used to play the cell phone trick. I would say, here, let me help you. Get out your cell phone real quick. Go to the A's. Pick somebody that starts with an A and just give me their number. And I would take my notepad. I'd shut up and I'd look at the pad like this. And I'd wait, and they'd give me a name and a number. And I'd go to B's. Find me one in the B's. So at the bottom of this is the real magic, though. So this is just a memory jogger. But down here, and I had to update this. Some of this is still right. Some of it's not. But the website has changed. So if you go to pikelibrary.org, digital services. So click on digital services. And then you're looking for this little magic baby right here called A2Z databases. Oh my gosh. Has anybody ever used this? Show of hands. I'm just kidding. Nobody's got the camera on. I feel like I'm here by myself, just with you and me, Leanne. Anybody ever use this? Or maybe you've used, what's that other one? It's called Reference USA. You remember that one? What this does, it gives you a database to businesses, because, nothing wrong with Aflac. Listen, it's one of our carriers. We still love them. But at Aflac, I was taught to basically say, hi, I'm looking for the person that handles your employee benefits. Now, would that be you or someone else? Like, that sounds kind of salesy, right? I'm walking in saying, I'm here to sell you something. I have no idea who I'm looking for. Who's in charge? That's basically, the dummy down version of what I just said. Well, watch this. Would it not be so much easier if you could do it this way? All right, so I'm going to pick on somebody. Beth, can we pick on you? You live in a small ass town. I mean, like, you live in a tiny town with like 300 people.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, good. Let's use you just for fun. All right, let's go zip code. What's your zip code?
41301.
41301. All right, what's the one, just say next to you, since you only have, 300 residents?
41339, I think.
Be 9. So you can also do radius. You can do radius around a zip code. So let me show you that one, just since she's got a little zip code here. I mean, her zip code is the same size as everyone else's, but it's, you know what I mean? All right, number of miles. Let's just say within, 60 miles. Hell, that might even pick up Lexington. Are you?
Yeah, that would.
Would it? Oh, gosh. Let's just do maybe 30 miles. How about that? That might get me, what, Mount Sterling, Winchester?
No.
No? Maybe 30 miles away. Well, let's see what we get. All right, so first, we got that in there. And then I want to do update count. So just within 30 miles of your zip code, 2,314. Now, there's all these different things that you can play with. I'm not going to show you all these in one day, but you can do keyword search. Let's just say you're looking for hair salons. I can put in salon, and I can pick only salons, and it'll just show me all the salons within that zip code or that search, right? We can do business name, which means you're kind of searching for a business name, branch or headquarters. So you can eliminate if it's like Lowe's. You know what I mean? You don't want to code call Lowe's because they're like, you got to go to corporate office. Where's corporate office? Philadelphia. All right, let me drive on up there and see if I can get a meeting. No, we're not doing that. So the biggest one that's probably going to help you is employee size. You don't want to go elephant hunting. It's going to be nearly impossible. Not impossible. It can happen, but it's going to be very hard and take a long time, more than likely, for you to walk in and get a school system or a hospital. If you get these smaller ones, like let's say up to, 100 people, right? That's probably your small business, small and Paul type shops and some decent size companies, but probably still locally owned. So, and there's a locally owned button somewhere also. Anyway, update count. So businesses within that zip code, 30 miles, that have up to 100 employees. So we went from 23 to, all right, we knocked out 300. That's good. We're trying to narrow down our search, right? All right. So the next thing is, I don't know if y'all have met me, but I'm really good with the ladies. So I'm going to go women owned because I don't want to talk to dudes, right? So y'all aren't laughing. That was really funny. Y'all know I'm married and not good with the ladies. Like, that's why I'm so good in sales, man. I've been rejected my whole life. Like, it's nothing. People are like, hey, did you fill this form out? You want life insurance? No. All right, bye. Next. I don't care. Some people literally take that personally. They go eat ice cream, Cheetos, and watch Netflix the rest of the afternoon because somebody was mean to them. And I'm like, so let's go only women owned, women owned businesses. Now, All right, you guys have to either type or unmute or something. How many of these 2,000 businesses would you say are owned by a woman?
Over 50%.
Over 50%. All right. Anybody else? 1,500. All right. 1,500. Owned by a woman.
750.
750. All right. I'm going to challenge you because the three people, don't you take this wrong. I love all three of y'all. The women always guess it's about 50%. In fact, Heather, I think you said 1,500, which would be 75%. You said 750, which I'm not good with percentages in my head. Michael is, but what is that? I don't know. Hell, 40%, 42.7. I made that up. So I'm going to go with about maybe 50 total businesses are owned by a woman. You'd be amazed. I'm sorry, but it is a man's world. Like, men own most of these businesses. I'm going to prove that to you as a fact. And this is in your advantage, right? Because when I said I'm good with the ladies, guess who Bethany is good with? It's not the ladies. She's cute, she's blonde, she's articulate, she's smart, she's successful. When she walks in, I'm sorry, but women can be catty little. So when she walks in, they're like, "Oh, you skinny little blonde-headed." Okay, like they start judging each other, right? They're like, "I don't want to do business with her. She's prettier than me." Michael doesn't give a shit. He knows I'm prettier than him, but he's still going to do business with me because he feels like I'm a good asset to what I can offer his company. He doesn't care that I'm prettier than him, right? So watch this. I guess 50, and you heard your all's guesses. Let's see. Update count. 275. All right. Well, who was closer? I think I was still closer than Bethany.
Oh, yeah.
But the point is, it's a very small number. A lot smaller than you thought. Dang. Yes, exactly. So let's do this. So back in the day, I was younger. All right. And I was hungry, right? I'm not as hungry today. And I'm a little older. So I used to do 40 businesses a day. The goal was not to talk to anyone. The goal was to drop off my card and schedule an appointment, period. That's it, just to schedule the appointment. And the idea was that if I kept my hopper full, if I went out every day and I scheduled appointments, then eventually I would have appointments the second week. Plus, when I don't have appointments, I'm scheduling more appointments, right? So after that first appointment where I'm really just saying, what do you currently offer people? I'm taking good notes so that I can come back and show him, well, here's what I can offer you. Here's what you offer. Here's how I can sweeten the deal. Here's things you don't even offer your people that I can offer, right? Here's something you offer that's way overpriced that I can fix. Like, whatever it is that the solution is you're offering. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Medicare. Well, you're probably not going to businesses to sell Medicare. That was a bad one. Sorry. Life insurance, whether it's ancillary products like Aflac, Colonial Combined, Manhattan Life, that kind of stuff. Mutual Omaha even has a lot of stuff like that now. So it doesn't matter what you're going in to offer. It's what can I do to better your situation? Here's what you're currently offering your people, and I can help. So let's go now to search and see what we get. So you can sort this by a map. I do it differently. I sort by name because I'm probably going to go to 20 a day, and I kind of want, hey, look, Abner from my family farm. Is that you?
No, I wish. It's not me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, Aunt Millie right there. So anyway, I like to sort by if I can't talk, alphabetize them alphabetically because there's 11 pages of these. There's 270 something, right? I want them. I'm going to print them. I'm going to staple them, and I'm going to have them all together so I can easily look up the information I need. But there's a much better view if you just click print. Oh, you got to select them all first. Hang on. All right, now we have all of them. So now watch this. We click print and just leave it just how it is and hit print. All it's going to do is put them in PDF format. Now you can put them on an iPad and carry it around with you in a car when you're traveling, and you can look this stuff up anytime. Like I said, the goal would be I would hit 20 a day. 20 a day. So look at this. This shows me what the business is, who the person is that in this case owns it, the address, roughly their annual revenue. That's not always right. Sometimes these are based off census data, and sometimes these are 5 years old. This at least gives you a starting point. So it's a lot warmer. Instead of walking in and going, hey, I'm looking for the person that has your employee benefits, would that be you or someone else? It's a lot easier if I walk in, the gatekeeper is there, they say, how can I help you? And I say, yeah, is Millie here? What are the chances that Millie has passed away? It's only happened to me twice in 20 years. So I'd say very slim chance that that's going to actually happen to you. But the name. Most of the time they go, yeah, honey, she's in her office. Run on back there. Never been here. I'm like, okay, which one is she in again? She's in the last one on the right. All right. I just pop my head in. But this tells me that, they have 2 employees. So this is a small family farm, I would assume. Most of these are 2 employees. We're in a very small town here, rural area. I don't even know if there's a 2-story building that's not a government building or or the school, Board of Education. But this one, look at this. Allen Railroad. Susan Allen owns that. A lady that owns a railroad. I'm curious. I would like to meet her. So 25 people. So, that's a decent one. All you're really asking is, can I come in and see your employees and show them what I offer and let them make their own educated decision on if they want what I offer or not? I don't want the decision maker or the HR person telling me, oh, my employees wouldn't be interested, or no, you can't come in, because knock on wood, 20 years in this business, I've never been told, no, you can't come in. Never. It just doesn't make sense. I kind of have to change my whole tonality, verbal pausing, and slow down what I'm saying, which almost says like, Leanne, are you a little slow? Because I'm like, let me make sure I understand. If I can come in here and give you the same exact benefits, but for a lot less price for your employees, you're telling me you would not be interested in saving everyone money. Is that what I'm hearing? It's just not a thing,
Hey, Shannon.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you go to the ones that are at a residence? I mean, that seems uncomfortable to me.
Yeah, I mean, use your own judgment. You don't have to.
Okay.
I probably would. I play Lost and Dumb really well. And when I play Lost and Dumb, listen, like, I'm on your team. If I show up at Millie's house, I have this printout in my hand. So I walk up to the house looking so confused, and I'm like looking around. Usually they see me in the driveway and they're already on the front porch, with a shotgun waving at me, and can I help you? And I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, GPS brought me here. I'm looking for Abner Family Farms, Millie Abner. Where's that place at? And they're like, oh yeah, no, this is it. So tell them what you do, right?
Thank you.
But again, you're welcome. But again, use your judgment. I mean, especially ladies, if you're going around and you're out in rural areas, in the middle of nowhere, just use your best judgment. If you feel unsafe, don't go. Don't get out of the car. Carry pepper spray. Scream just in case. Pack heat, whatever. Right? We're in Kentucky. We pack heat. So step 2 of this is you take one of these pages and you put all these addresses. Or you can actually sort by address, and then you just put all the first 10 or 20, you put all those in something like Road Warrior. And instead of you driving from one side of the county, all over all day wasting gas, it puts them all in order. And it says, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you finish your day at 10. Forgive me, but the approach to the receptionist, most of these places are going to have a receptionist, somebody that you would call the gatekeeper. Their sole purpose in life, their power, is to keep you from the person that makes the decision. They're the shield for that person. That's their job, right? Before you get to me, to the marketer, you want to talk to one of my admins. But, no offense, I'm busy. I don't want to talk to everybody that comes in the door. That person kind of helps decide who I'm going to talk to or not, which is crazy because sometimes they have that decision-making ability, but that's where their power comes in. So you got to learn how to talk to these people. Some people walk in and they're just not as nice to the gatekeeper. I'm like, really? I got gatekeepers. I know what kind of snacks they like. One of my hardest accounts to get into, I found out she loves peanut butter, or what's called peanut M&Ms. I brought her a bag with a handle full of them. And I was like, here, this is my admission to get in to see the boss. What day is he free? And she laughed so hard. She actually scheduled me an appointment. So look at some of these with me. And again, it may not apply nowadays because this is, things have changed. We're doing most of this online nowadays. People aren't getting out in person and seeing people as much. And again, this was written back when I probably did more ancillary, benefits, accident plans, short-term disability, cancer. We still offered life. It just wasn't a major offering. It was we had one policy to offer. That was it. So anyway, I walk in, I say, can you help me? So first of all, there's a lot of psychology behind this. People decent people inherently want to help others. It's just part of our nature, right? If you see something happen that's like an injustice, some of you just kind of want to run to it and help however you can. Some of you stand there and stare at it. Some of you run away from it. It's just, we're all different. There's nothing wrong with that. But I walk up and I just say, can you help me? Nobody wants to do you a favor. If I said, Michael, can you do me a favor? He's like, oh, what do you want? A favor means I got to stop doing what I'm doing and I got to do something for you. And this is taking time away from my day and my plans. But we want to help each other. So the word help is huge over the word favor. So hi, can you help me? My name's Shannon Carpenter. I just stopped to schedule an appointment with Mr. Smith. Is he in? Now, objections are good. Objections means that they're interested. That's what I tell myself. So objections mean that they're good. They're interested. They're listening. So listen to their objection. Don't interrupt, because after you've been doing this a long time, they can make a shape with their mouth, and I could tell you what they're about to say, because I've heard every rejection, objection, everything you can imagine. And I had to tone it down because I talk so fast. I know what they're about to say, and I want to jump in and give the answer. So I have to mentally like make myself wait until I see their lips stop moving before I answer, right? I'm not good at that. So listen to the objection without interrupting, then compliment the question by saying, wow, that's a good question. And then you say, how do you mean? Let them explain their question. This is a tactic you can use to remember what the objection is, or maybe what you should say, like how to overcome that. So the other one would be, wow, that's a good question. Obviously, you have a good reason for saying that. Do you mind if I ask what it is? That forces them to explain their question or explain their objection. Sorry. They may not really have really any clue what their objection really is. They just don't want you there. And so you're like, oh, that's a good question. You mind if I ask why you would say that? You wait till you see their faces. But anyway, it gives you time to think. This is a good one. And this is, listen, this is hit or miss. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's kind of a play by ear. If I feel like I have a decent relationship with that gatekeeper, maybe I sit there and talk to him for a minute. Can you imagine me doing that? I mean, maybe I made a new friend. Maybe they really like what I do. Sometimes if I feel like it's going well and they say like, well, what do you do? I'll just whip out some information and start showing them some stuff, right? Like, here's what I do. They asked. So now they're on my side. They want me in. They want to get me in front of the decision makers. So I absolutely spend time with that person. Sure, I give them a business card. But in a lot of cases, if I'm just walking in saying, hey, I just want to chat with the person on Henderson and play business they're in, or most people say don't give a business card because they're just going to throw it away. I got plenty of them, so I don't really care. But I just say, typically the script was, no, ma'am, I'm sorry. I just stopped scheduling an appointment. Is he here? That's the theme. I just stopped scheduling an appointment. Is he here? Can I tell him who's here to see him? No, I want to surprise him. Can I help you? I'm Shannon with Aflac. And she goes, sir, I'm not sure if you're aware, but there is a no soliciting sign on that door. And I confused the crap out of this poor one. I would never do that. I just stopped to schedule an appointment. Is he around? And she was like, well, no, he's not here. And I was like, okay, who schedules his appointments? Do you do that, or does he do that? Because she said, well, he doesn't see anybody without an appointment. And I said, well, I said, do you schedule his appointments, or does he schedule his appointments? She said, well, he schedules them. I said, great. Is he here so I can schedule an appointment? Like, we're in this never-ending cycle. What's this about? That's when I just said, here, I'll show you. And I just go into presentation mode, Do you have something you can leave? I usually don't leave anything because we offer so much. Like, I don't know what, I got 60,000 brochures. Like, which one do you want? I don't know what to leave yet. I gotta talk to you first and find out how I can help to find out what I need to leave. So I just say, not really. I just stop to schedule an appointment, shake a hand, say hi, get to know him. Would you see if he has a moment to greet me? He wouldn't be interested. Well, that's possible. But until he knows exactly what I do, he can't make an educated decision. Would you see if he could spare 5 minutes? That's psychology right there. Because Michael, if you don't make an educated decision, you're making an uneducated decision. So I just called him stupid, and he wasn't even there, if she caught that. So what are you selling? I'm not selling anything at all. I'm a financial consultant. I specialize in life and investments. Say whatever you do, right? Whether it's retirement planning or this or that, and whatever, just fill in the blank. So I have some things Mr. Smith has never seen before, and I'd like to run them by him. He's not here. No problem. Just schedule an appointment. When's he going to be back? Best time to reach him. That's the same one I just did. This was one we added. We did a workshop in Tennessee where we all went to stay in a hotel for a week, and we, all eat together, breakfast, dinner, and we pair people up, experienced people with not experienced people, and they go out and they do what we've taught. So we have a class like this every morning, and we teach them something, and they go out and they try to do what we taught them, and they come back and we say, how'd it go? So that, it's like a week-long workshop we used to do. And we're down in Nashville area-ish, Tennessee, and somebody came back and they said, what do you say when they said the good Lord will take care of us if something bad happens? I say, why do you think I'm here? So, or you could say, you know what, the good Lord works in mysterious ways, doesn't he? And then I just tell the joke, and the joke usually seals the deal. I say, man, you ever heard about the, where the old man is in his house and there's a massive flood and the water's rising quick, and an ambulance actually pulls up out in front of this man's house. And they say, sir, come on, we'll take you to safety. He says, no, the good Lord's got my back. So the water keeps rising. It's in his living room. So he goes upstairs. He's looking out the window from his bedroom, and here comes a boat. Little John boat pulls up and like, sir, come on, hop in the boat. We'll take you to safety. He says, no. Good Lord, take care of me. So, water comes up in his bedroom. He climbs out the window. He's sitting on top of the roof. A helicopter comes and lowers a ladder. Sir, grab the ladder. We'll pull you up, take you to safety. He says, no, God's got my back. Well, he dies. He drowns. He goes to heaven. He's met by, St. Peter, and he says, I don't understand. I've kept the commandments. I've gone to church and do my tithing. He's like, I really thought God was going to take care of me. St. Peter said, well, hell, he sent a boat, a truck. How many clues do you need, dude? Sent a helicopter. So then we get into the business owner. Like, once you meet the business owner, so when you meet the business owner, I say something like, hey, Mr. Smith, my name's Shannon. I just specialize in life insurance investments. I have a few types of policies. I'm not sure if you've ever seen before. When you have 5 minutes to, or I just shorten this nowadays and I just say, I'm a financial advisor. I specialize in getting people out of debt and teach them how to grow wealth. But I also offer, health insurance, life insurance, property, casualty, commercial, fleet, Medicare, like whatever, name whatever credentials you have and do. And really, I just like to sit down and kind of get to know you, learn about your business, find out what you offer your people, and see if I can't somehow better your situation. That's it. Like, I don't pitch anything. It's just a convert. When I go on that meeting, all I have is a notepad, a blank notepad. That's it. Because I'm just there to meet him and take notes. I'm not there to sell him anything. I love this one. They sometimes will say, you need to speak to my HR director. I say, I'd be happy to. Just so I'm not in an awkward position, does your HR director have the authority to grant me approval if he or she sees value in our programs? Yes, great. Would you mind to introduce me to her? I don't want to come back and just ask for her. Right? I want you to introduce me. It has a little bit more power whenever the owner walks you in and says, this is our guy. He's going to be here. Y'all schedule it, right? If he says, no, I'll make the final decision, not a problem, right? Is it safe to say that if your HR person sees value in what I can offer, then you would entertain a brief meeting with me? Because what I don't want is the HR person trying to give him my entire sales pitch. I couldn't sit down and do their HR job. I don't want them trying to do mine because they're going to get something wrong. Hell, they may lie to them and tell them false information. There's just no telling. What are you saying, Michael? Once the meeting is over, how can I access what we went? Oh, I'll show you. It's on the Facebook group under files. Where you go and you click onto the events tab to find the meetings. Go to the files tab and look for getting down to business. And like I said, I need to really update this. It's 5-6 years old. All right, here's some objections you may hear from the business owner. I'm not interested. Of course not. I haven't shown you anything yet. Like, you got to look, you're being kicked out and told no at this point anyway. You might as well grow a set and say something a little ballsy that might actually give you a shot. Otherwise, just go ahead and walk back to your car. You've already given up, right? So when they say I'm not interested, like, all I've done, most times they've come out to greet me. I got that far. They shake my hand. Who are you? What do you do? I'm not interested. I'm like, I haven't even had my meeting with you yet. Like, you don't even know what this is. So anyway, that's kind of the whole point is, well, of course not. And I say this with a big smile on my face because it sounds like I'm being a smart aleck, but I want to make sure they see that I mean it innocently. Of course not. I haven't shown you anything yet. Just give me about 5 minutes so you can make an educated decision. Check back with me. Perfect. I'll be back next Wednesday. Are you in the morning or afternoon? The choice closes, right? Morning or afternoon, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, which one works best for you? What exactly is this about? I specialize in whatever it is, in small businesses like yours. As a matter of fact, I don't care what the business is. I have so many school systems that I deal with because when I walked in the very first school system, I specialized in school systems. It was my first one, but I specialized in school systems, and I'd love to show you how I can, help you with this. So, well, on the second school system, I just said, oh yeah, I specialize in school systems. Nancy over at the county next door? Yeah, give her a call and ask her for a reference if you like, right? I go to the next county. I specialize in school systems. Guess what? I have 2 now. I have 2. But eventually, I kind of had the entire state. So you can specialize in whatever. I specialize in hair salons. I specialize in bricks. I actually have a company that makes bricks. That's all they do is just make bricks. You never think about this, but somebody got to make everything, right? They make bricks. What else? Talk to HR. We kind of just did that one too. Would you introduce me? I don't think my employees would be interested. So you have, this is classic. You have an employer, right? The employer, let's face it, probably makes more money than the employees. So you have this person that makes this much money that doesn't have a problem paying their bills. If this person got hurt, sick, or was off work, short term is probably not important to them because they're making money as long as their people show up to work, right? The people do the work. They make profit off of it. Now, it's probably not going to run as well because the boss is not there, right? Daddy's away, the kids play. So, but he's still going to have income. But that employee that's paycheck to paycheck, if they miss maybe a paycheck or two, well, they're really struggling. Like they could lose a house, a car, they could have electricity turned off. So it's kind of a tough thing to go to the employer and be like, okay, well, my employees will be interested. Well, we won't know until they see what it is. I appreciate your willingness. I just assume. I'm assuming that I'm in. So I said, well, we won't know until they see what it is. But listen, I appreciate your willingness to let me in here and just offer it. We'll just see how it goes. They may want it, they may not. But we'll ask them. And usually they're like, well, okay. And I'm like, when's a good day? So, all right, this one's another one that people tell me a lot is my employees are insurance poor. I love hearing that. That tells me your employees believe insurance is important, so important that they have lots of it. So here's what I'll do. I'll sit with each of them. I'll do a free portfolio review where I'll go through it and I'll tell them what covers they have and kind of what they lack, right? The goal is just provide better benefits, cheaper price. If I can't do that, I'll tell them to keep what they've got. Let me talk to them first. Listen, I appreciate your willingness to help me out. In the past, that usually doesn't work simply because you don't know my products like I do. You don't know the rates, what it covers, and more importantly, you don't know what it doesn't cover. It'd be like me hiring your employees for a day, right? You just let me do all the hiring for your company. You wouldn't do that. Another true story. I'm in a hair salon, and a few of the agents had already kind of been shooed away and kicked out. So I walk in. It's a big salon, like 19 people. 19 stylists. I knew the owner's name. So I walked in and I was like, hey, I said, which one of you pretty ladies is Becky? And she's like, that's me. I wasn't expecting the girl at the front desk to be the owner. And she was like, that's me. And I said, hey, I'm Shannon. I work with this company and, do this. And she was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it all sounds good. Well, listen, let me talk to them first and just kind of see what they think. And I said, hey, I'll make you a deal. I said, you talk to them and see what they think. Just let me know. I said, but here's the deal. The next person that walks through your door, I'm cutting their hair. Sound good? She goes, well, no. I said, why? She said, well, you're not licensed to cut hair. I said, you're not licensed to sell insurance. She laughed. Not everybody's going to laugh at your jokes, okay? Some of them are going to be like, all right, you can go now. But that's just people who don't have a good personality, so you don't want to work with them anyway. My employees can't afford it. Other than now listen, this is called the trap. I trap them here. My employees can't afford it. They could say any number of things that are similar to that. And all you say is, other than whatever that objection is, so other than your employees not being able to afford it, is there any other reason you wouldn't allow me to come in here and show them what I offer? And then they're gonna be like, well, no. Perfect. All you can do is make it available to them. All I can do is educate them on the benefits, and then we can let them decide. That's the whole point. Let's let them make their own decision, right? But I said it nicer and more professionally, I think. Saying it again, you can make your own, but this is an appointment sheet. So I like to do about a 3-appointment kind of system. The first one, just to schedule the appointment with the decision maker. The second time, I'm going in with my notepad. I'm taking notes on what they offer. I'm not even showing them anything at that point. I'm really just, I tell them, look, you deserve a professional presentation. Today is just me asking you a lot of questions. I'm going to find out what you offer. Now, at the end of that second meeting, I want a tour of the facility. I'm super interested in what you do. Even the brick company, this is true story. It's close to Bethany's house, actually. So Stanton. So anyway, I'm like, so how'd you get started in the brick business, right? Like, I don't care about how you got started in the brick business, but I want to learn about your business. This is now one of my, my business partners, my companies. I want to know. But also at the end, I'm like, hey, do you care to give me a tour? Why do I ask for a tour?
Meet more people on the tour.
I meet a lot of people on the tour because I got a big smile and I'm shaking hands and waving at people and kissing babies or whatever, right? But why? Why do I want a tour?
Well, he's going to introduce you to people, right? And it gets them excited about what you have to offer.
It does, exactly. But and you're so close. You're right there.
Yeah, well, I've only had 1 cup of coffee, so.
So check this out. If he says, yes, come back next Tuesday, they're going to post something in the break room or make an announcement over the speakers and, hey, there's an insurance guy in the break room. Anybody wants to go see him? There's an insurance guy in the break room. Well, guess what? Nobody is going to eat lunch in the break room today. It's like cockroaches, like scatter. He's here. Don't go in the break room. There's an insurance guy. All right. But when the owner of the company walks me around, we both have our hard hats and glasses on, and he's introducing me to people, as you pointed out. They see me with the owner, and I now have immediate credibility. When they see me in there next week, now they know I belong. I belong there. Okay. So the third meeting is where I actually come back and I sit with the employees. Now, if you're new at this, one-on-one, baby, one-on-one. You want to see them one-on-one, right? When you've been doing it as long as I have, I want the whole company. You ever have like a safety meeting? Right? A lot of businesses, a lot of industrial type, they'll have a safety meeting once a month. It's required. A lot of police, law enforcement, stuff like that, have a safety meeting once a month. So I would ask, I don't mind to wait 3 weeks. I'll come to your safety meeting. That way I can stand up. I'll give a quick little 10-minute kind of, here's what I do. I help people get out of debt. I teach them to grow wealth. I help with retirement. I can show you what to do with your 401k that's underperforming. I rattle off the things that you do, whatever you specialize in, right? Whatever it is. And then I send around a little sheet like this. That needs to be updated, obviously, again. And it's just a sign-up sheet. It's their name and their cell phone number, and then check a box of what you're most interested in. When I come back next week, I'm going to have either I'm going to text you or have like HR call you and tell you it's your turn. You're going to come in. Your name's going to be on my sheet, and then I know what to talk about. You're interested in whole life. I'm not going to sit here and do a presentation for them on everything we offer, right? They're interested in whole life. They obviously know the difference. I'm going to double check and make sure you know the difference in term and whole life. I ask them a question, not to everybody, no matter what the product. Now, tell me, why do you want the whole life? I make them sell it to me. But we get the sales tactics later. I like to make sure they know what the difference is, right? So they turn 65 and they get a letter that your term life expired. They're like, what? He sold me a policy that expired? Oh, I thought you knew the difference, right? So this is just a sign-up sheet. Pass this around, get people to sign it up. This is something I put in every piece of mail that I send out. This is how I get a lot of people that call me for life insurance. You're supposed to read this with like a somber heart, kind of like a slow, sad, but I'm going to read it quickly just for time purposes. So it says, I'm a piece of paper, but even more, I am an idea, I'm a promise, education for the children, I am savings. I am property that increases in value from year to year. I lend money when you need it most with no questions asked. I pay off mortgages so the family can remain together in its own home. I assure fathers the daring to live and the moral right to die. I am tangible evidence that man is a good husband and father. I am a declaration of financial independence, a charter of economic freedom. I am the difference between an old man and an elderly gentleman. I provide cash if illness, injury, old age, or death cuts off the breadwinner's income. I am the only thing a father can buy on the installment plan that mother doesn't have to finish paying for. I supply investment capital that makes smoke up the chimneys, wheels turn, and motors hum. I guarantee there will always be a Christmas with tinsel, a happy fireside, and the laughter of children, even though father is not there. I am the guardian angel of the home. I am your life insurance policy. So I just put this in mail, send it. I don't care if they're a Medicare client. That's actually the perfect people to send this to, is a Medicare client. You've already got a book of business. Maybe cross-sell,
I would like to understand more about recommending. I mean, I understand that a 401k is not the best vehicle for them to put their money in because it's at risk of losing money in the market. But recommending an IUL versus annuity, yes, there are things like whether they can qualify for an IUL versus annuity. Do they want to access their cash quickly or let it build up? I just don't feel like I'm knowledgeable enough to really make those recommendations. And I'm wondering if do you do a training or a class, or is there something I can read that will give me some more information on that?
That sounds like a great topic for next week. So next week,
and I won't be able to join next week. So you are going to record it, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.